What age is it that you become a radio show host? And how did that even happen?
Fucking 14 in 1993.
Holy shit. That early. Man.
So I used to call up the radio show WHUS 91.7 in the University of Connecticut. And they had this slot of time called Urban Styles. And it was these DJs, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, who would all play different versions of urban music, right? The guy who brought me in, he was a little bit older. He went to school with like my aunts and my uncle. His name is Mike Watson. His DJ name is Uncle Chocolate. And Uncle Chocolate played a dance hall show. And so my introduction to being on radio was through a dance hall show. That's why I'm such a huge dance hall fan, 90s hit dance hall shit. You know, Beanie Man and Buju and Ika Mouse and all these different artists, you know, Capleton. And my first interview I ever did was Patra. Uncle Chocolate helped me interview Patra in 93. And so I was on the air at that point, and then I took a test. I took a test for what you call it, FCC or whatever the fuck it is that you have to go on the radio.
The airwaves thing, yeah.
Yeah. So I took that and I passed it, and they gave me a show. You know what? They might have given me a show in 94, which I would have been 15. That makes sense. So that was it. But I would visit the radio show in 93 when I was 14. And it started out with me going Uncle Chocolate, the dance hall show. And then there were two other DJs, DJ Boogie and DJ Zop. And those guys, hip hop, their show was hip hop. And this, you got to think, bro, this is when things were the absolute fucking greatest. Like Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders just dropped. Wu-Tang 36 Chambers just dropped. All this phenomenal shit was out in 93. And then we were getting into 94 with Illmatic, you know what I'm saying? And you know, back to 93, Sunrises in the East had just dropped. Return to the Boom Bap. All these things were dropping at this radio station. And just, I'm constantly hearing all this shit. And it was incredible, man. We had access to this little side room, Studio B, where I would go in there all the time and make mixtapes and play records. And that's where we recorded our first demos because the mic was better. And it was amazing, man.
But you were like living a rapper's dream because, you know, like back then it's like people would feel like, yo, if I could be on the radio, I feel like I made it. You know what I mean? Like, or signed a deal, I made it, right? But like, so like, how was that experience like for you? Like, you're feeling at such a young age that, damn, I'm like in this almost like privileged position that a lot of people don't get in.
Oh, it was fucking incredible, man. It was absolutely incredible. I was in love with it. It didn't feel like, oh, I need to get on the radio. It felt very much like college radio. Like, make no mistake about it. I didn't think like I had blown up on a commercial level. It was like local people and prisoners were listening to me. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of jail mail. Matter of fact, I have some, like literally right here somewhere is like an old envelope with a fucking letter, a jail letter from that time period.
Oh shit!
So much shit, man. But damn, I'd have to search for it. Yeah. But at any rate, I still have shit from that time period. But you know, we had people who were locked up listening to us. We were freestyling on the air. Me and my boys. I have friends come up there, and DJ Zop was a huge help with, you know, mentoring me, and DJ Boogie these guys were like big brothers to me. And they weren't, once again, like it was that tough love of them still being like big brothers to me, where they weren't just overly like, they would check me for being corny or doing dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? And that made all the difference in the world, you know?
So the show ends up being called Boombox from the Boondocks, right? At some point?
Yeah, that was later. That was 1997, 1998. Late 97, early 98 is when we came up with Boombox from the Boondocks. And that's when I had gotten up with, well, I'd known him for a while, but my boy DJ Mayday, shout out to Mayday. And we had done the show, and Open Mic 2 was Open Mic's name at that time. I'm just going to say this because it might be embarrassing to him. And I keep saying Open Mic, but his name at the time was Jedi X. So, Oh, my
Shout
fucking
Jedi
first
X.
rap. My first radio name was Spida, Spida, when like 1993, which quickly changed. But there was somebody else I gave the name Apathy to. Shout out to Pumpkin from Hartford, and I had given the name to him, and it just didn't stick. And I took the name after a very short amount of time. So I took the name in 93, late 93, and we had this group back in the day called the Terror Monks. It was me, Pumpkin, one other dude, and this girl. And we were kind of like, if you took Smith & Wesson, the Fugees, and J-Rue and mashed it up, that's like the shit we were sounding like. We didn't even really have, I don't even think we had original beats at that time. We were just doing rehearse, we were doing things to instrumentals. We were doing little routines. You know what I'm saying?
So it's through the radio station that you find out about Jedi mind tricks, and they were rapping about similar things that you and Alien Nation were doing, right?
Well, let me say this. Here's the thing that people need to understand about that radio station. From 93 all the way to the early 2000s, that place was like a second home to me. So everything that happened, no matter how much we traveled or did other shit, I was always there, right? Whether it was having a show or guesting on other people's show or just being up there or being in Studio B. It was like a second home to me. I was friends with all the program directors. I'm still friends with all the old guys. All the old program director guys, I'm friends with them on Facebook still, love those guys. John Murphy, Chris Sampson. I'm just shouting them out just by off chance that they see this. You know what I'm saying? When's the time that they're going to get a shout out like this? But, I was always there. So a lot of my early days, everything that happened was like, that was the radio station was the backbone of my experience throughout the 90s. So I was up there one time, and this is when we had already linked up with Alien Nation. This is when we had already been doing all that super supreme knowledge shit. We were down with Zulu Nation. All of a sudden, and we're rapping about that deep ass cosmic shit. You know what I'm saying? And we hadn't heard anybody else who rapped about it like we did. And then all of a sudden, I get this fucking vinyl in the mail at WHUS, and nobody else had a show like mine. Nobody else would have been interested in it. Everybody else was playing a little more pedestrian level shit at that time. And I see this fucking vinyl, Jedi Mind Tricks, the Amber Probe EP. And I was like, damn, what is this? This looks ill. Fucking throw that shit on. And I'm like, oh my God, these guys are like us, man. These guys are rapping about Holy Tabernacle shit, Dr. Malachi York, and all this deep fucking crazy shit, the Anunnaki and all that. And there's an email on there, and I email it, and I think it was Pablo. Shout out to Pablo. Pablo worked at Super Regular Records, and shout out to Jan too. And I had linked up with Vinny, and we had linked up through email at first. He gave me his phone number. And I remember I was living with my dad, and I remember fucking running up his fucking phone bill, like just me and Vinny ciphering. Like I had to work it all off. I had to do work to pay my dad. But I remember fucking ciphering. We're just sitting there spitting verses for each other back and forth. You know what I'm saying? And at one point, Eternia had way back then when we were teenagers, Eternia was my first actual girlfriend, and she came and lived with me. She was in Connecticut, and Paz invited me to come down and be on the album. So we took an Amtrak down there and went to Philly, and we did the Psychosocial, and I dropped 3 verses on that. Eternia dropped a verse, but I guess they just felt like it didn't fit the song right. It didn't sound right, so she didn't make the cut on that one. But yeah.
Right. You said in the past, like typically you would have felt the way that they were like similar to you, but they were doing it so right that you couldn't even hate on it, basically, right? You just knew that they were hot. Like
they were dope. I didn't even feel threatened. I was just like, yo, I gotta know these people. I gotta get in contact with them. They're fucking fire. Like, but that was also at another point where So that blossomed, right? The 90s was the early to mid 90s was very competitive. And I'm not saying it didn't stop being competitive, but there was a certain point in time where, at least for me and my crew, and I think a lot of other people, that we saw this indie boom shit was starting to gain traction, the Fat Beats days and all that. And it was a lot about collaboration. Like, we all wanted to know each other. We all wanted to network. All of us had these fucking notebooks. Let me see if I have an old one. All of us had these fucking notebooks where we would have names and numbers scribbled in the back. Oh, this isn't old enough. Oh, damn. Somewhere under here. Oh, wait. Somewhere under here is, I mean, this is a rough one. This is like later, much later, but like you see, like there's like people's like numbers like written on here. But that's how we connected. Like, we meet somebody, be like, yo, what's your number? And I'd be like, boom, oh, this person, boom, boom, boom. And our shit would be, the back of our notebooks would be filled up with numbers and emails and all that shit. So it was very much a time about collaboration and trying to get with each other, networking with each other, trying to work with each other, trying to just get known and respected by each other too.
Yeah, so you appeared on 3 songs on that album, right? The 3 Immortals, Omnicron, and the Apostles' Creed. How was the response that you felt from like the people when they heard that album and the music?
People loved it, man. It was dope. It wasn't like resounding, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like super wild, but it was definitely dope. And it was really positive, and it was crazy to be on vinyl. And I remember we got a good review by this writer, Brian Coleman, at the time, and I was really gassed off that. And it was fantastic, man. Like, people definitely showed love. But like I said, it wasn't like it was like a home run. Like, it was a part of the history. And I think it was more because I was a feature too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that it was Paz was kaboom. You know what I'm saying? He was off to the races because it's his project, it's his group. But for me, it was really, really dope. But it wasn't me yet. You know what I'm saying? I was just kind of featured on it. I was on 3 records, but still.
And at that time, he's going by Icon, the verbal hologram.
Hologram, right.
Yeah. That's dope, man.